Fuck!
I consider myself a conservative fan of the Resident Evil series. 2 and 4 are my favorites, 1 and 3 were decent. I didn't have much love for 5 and 6, however. So let's take a look at the 7th entry in the series to see how it stacks up. We play as Ethan, a man who's in search of his wife who's been missing for 3 years. After receiving a distressing message from her, his search leads him to a seemingly abandoned home in the swamplands where he's captured and tortured by a sadistic family of unkillable mutants. Ethan must overcome both the Twisted family and their labyrinth-like home as he searches for a way to save himself and his wife Mia. Well, maybe his wife Mia. Let's just say things get complicated for poor old Ethan. Graphically, it looks good. I have a mid-range PC that I guess is starting to show its age. I wasn't able to play on maximum settings, but the game still looked nice and ran smoothly on the lower settings. The sound design is quite possibly the best I've heard in a horror game. The ambience helps guide Ethan's emotional journey, reacting to the situations at hand as well as the player's actions on the fly. The game is very reminiscent of cult classic horror films. Scattered throughout are shades of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Return to the Living Dead, and Saw, just to name some of the obvious film examples I was able to spot. Gameplay-wise, it captures what I feel is the core Resident Evil gameplay, which focuses on having a consistent balance of exploration, puzzle solving, and of course action. Going above and beyond that, however, it seems to have also taken a few pages from classic horror game series like Sweet Home, Silent Hill, and Parasite Eve, opting for a more psychological approach than what the Resident Evil series has been traditionally known for. I did have some issues with pacing, however. There are some sections in the game that just throw needless waves of generic enemies at you. It's not super frustrating, but throws off the pacing and pads out the game time, which only ran me about 9 hours for a single playthrough. Some speedrunners have that down to about 90 minutes, but the game offers incentives for repeated playthroughs such as character enhancements and multiple endings based on the player's choices. The multiple endings aren't that big of a deal. There's just one decision that literally only changes 2 cutscenes in a single boss fight, and I was disappointed in the lack of diversity between the choices. It would have been nice to have something more substantial come from such a weighty decision. And those are really my only complaints. Well, other than the theme song, what the hell Capcom, go tell Aunt Rhody. I feel like some business executive thought they were capturing a really cool slice of Americana like Final Fantasy XV did with Stand By Me, but completely missed the point. Also, I really hate bugs, and there's a bug level. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, if your idea of fun is literally being stabbed in the eye, and if that's your thing, I suggest trying it out in VR. In all seriousness, I place this closer to my favorites in the series than any of the lesser recent sequels. It's an interesting return to form that adds new elements that really work well with the existing formulas. So those are my thoughts on Resident Evil 7. What are yours? Once again, this was Fadedragontear. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.